All right, we're looking at Jaguar's rebrand today. Sam, 3 words or less, Jaguar.
I'm gonna go with, for me personally, Jaguar. Out of reach, I'll say.
Ooh, I like that. I like out of reach. I'm going to say 3 words or less, who cares?
I have a feeling that might be for more than one of these that we do. That's
I don't know. We'll get into it here as we look at the rebrand. So obviously they just rebranded. They kind of launched a whole new identity for their company. There's all sorts of stuff we're going to get into looking at that. And then at the end, we're going to talk about whether they're remarkable or not, whether this brand is actually remarkable, especially this rebrand. I don't know. Like, if you want to get into like what they're doing at some level, yes, they probably needed to rebrand. They're financially in a whole bunch of hot water. They've not been making money on their like classic, most iconic car models. So they were probably due for, some kind of shakeup like this. But this is, I got to be honest, man, this one's been bizarre to watch.
Yeah.
It's like everything that I think about Jaguar, they have completely jettisoned. It's like this kind of classic luxury sports car. And maybe there's some issues with that. Maybe it's gotten tired and old from like kind of a demographic standpoint of who's buying their stuff. But the rebrand is interesting. I feel like they've jettisoned all their history. Yeah. And then on top of that, they haven't really staked a claim, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Of like, what do they stand for now? I think they just threw a bunch of buzzwords out.
Yeah.
With weird models.
It did feel a little bit like if anyone here is a Star Wars fan, the newer Disney era of Star Wars was very clear and like, we're gonna kill off all the old stuff. We're gonna let it die, kill it if you have to, was the quote. And that is kind of what this whole like launch campaign was about. It was just like, delete ordinary, don't do anything the same, everything's new, create exuberance, copy nothing. Yeah. And Mike, I mean, you and I see it all the time, especially with big brands. There was a definite hint of some political stuff in here.
Oh, totally.
And that's really, I think, what caught the firestorm. Like, it just seemed like they might. I think they did that on purpose. I think it was like, we're gonna come out with something that's so crazy and so different. Yeah. People are gonna have to talk about it, and it's probably not going to be good. Yeah. But we don't care. We just want people to talk about our brand.
I got to go back to that slide before. No, not that one. The next one. This group, the group one. No, the group one. Yeah. I feel like I'm watching like Total Recall.
Yeah.
Like it's like some other world.
Yeah.
People like in the distant future where we've lost sense of like who we are as humanity and there's nothing recognizable. I mean, like maybe they're going for a demographic that really sees themselves like these people, but I doubt it. There's part of this too that is like, this actually is counter to what luxury branding typically is supposed to do, which is half of luxury branding is getting people who will never afford and never buy the brand to recognize it and go, ooh, if I could only get to that point in my life where I could afford that thing. If I could afford a Jaguar, it says something about who I am, so that when the person driving the Jaguar actually drives it, there's social posturing. There's like social credit that they're getting by driving that brand and having it. And this stuff just, I'm like, there's nothing that resonates with anybody, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't know. Like the sleek design, I'm fine with that. I don't mind the like, oh man, I don't like the logo. I got to be honest.
I don't know which one is the actual logo.
I think it's that, but then that's the
one that goes on the car.
Yeah.
They've like ultra modernized it, which is like, again, like we talked about this last week, I think with the 7-Up rebrand, it was like that was the thing like 10 to 15 years ago. So if you're trying to be like trendy, you're really late to the game.
Not only that, but like this feels very like, oh, we want to be the Apple of luxury cars.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's already other brands that have captured that kind of mystique.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's just no sense of like owned identity. It's like I feel like a lot of grasping at other ideas of what they could be without it like rooting it in anything that's like true about who they are. The car, yeah. We'll get to the image here of like the whole car. It's fine. It just seems like so not thought through.
Yeah.
These are just some like fun concept paintings that somebody threw out there and they're like, oh, that's cool. I guarantee you that it'll look nothing like this when they actually develop it.
No, it's definitely a concept car. It's one of those that's just like kind of out there. I did see it though and think like this is a softer version of the Cybertruck that honestly like 70% of the people I talk to hate the Cybertruck. They're just like, it's so ugly. I can't stand looking at it. And then everyone under 12 years old is like, Cybertruck. Oh my goodness. I love the Cybertruck. I want one. But you know, Cybertruck has its own little group fan club and,
What's interesting to me though is the Jaguar is not actually like different enough. Like I kind of get the Cybertruck strategy. It's like almost like go to the furthest extreme and create like this new iconic, like very different look that, like you said, the 12-year-olds, the 15-year-olds, the 20-year-olds are going to be like, oh, that's interesting, right? And the rest of us go, oh, it's ugly. The Jaguar kind of just, I don't know. It's like almost not different enough. And it's this weird play with like a harkening back to like the old like kind of roadster type look, but in a sleek modern design. And it's almost like, well, but you said that you're going to do everything different. And it almost like, it's like, oh, well, we didn't mean everything, right? Like we still have to root the brand in something that is true that people recognize. Versus the Tesla truck is like, no, we're just going to we're going to mess with everything that anyone thinks a truck looks like. Right. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling the Jaguar. And like I think this is what your point's been when we talked about it. It's like, it's just branding for noise, or I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's branding for PR. It's like, hey, we're hurting. We need to pump the attention. So let's rebrand. And I'm very biased on this. I personally think that is a terrible branding strategy because it misaligns what brand is about. Brand is about identity, not noise or PR. It's not about attention first and foremost. Can you get some attention when you rebrand? Yes, absolutely. That's fine. But if that's the sole purpose or that's the primary goal, I think you end up making a lot of decisions that Jaguar has made, which is you don't root it in anything consistent or true. And it's a lot of flailing. It's a lot of like, oh, let's just kind of throw all this out there and see what sticks. And I don't think that's actually going to, I don't think it's going to work at all. I think this is going to fall super flat because they're not staking a claim on what they believe and what they think is true about who they are and in the world and EVs and about cars and style.
I would actually argue, Mike, that they are staking a claim. And the claim is we're just throwing everything out and we're starting over. I mean, that's essentially what they were saying.
That's not a stake in the ground. That's not a, like, we believe something. That's we hate everything that we were because it wasn't working, right? It wasn't making money. Okay. That's the symptom. But that's not your like, all right, moving forward, we are all about XYZ, right? And you can't be, we are all about everything we weren't without stating what you are now for. And that's where I'm just like, there's no vision here. There's absolutely no vision with this brand. And that was already the issue. Like, it's funny, like the issue that they've been having as a brand up to this point has been that they've lacked vision
Yeah.
as a company. It's like, what do we stand for? Who are we? And what do we want to be in the future? And so when they finally come to the realization, like, oh, we have to change who we are and make a new vision, they don't make a new vision. They just kind of throw out a bunch of buzzwords. And even the style that they're coming up with is just, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and I don't know what it stands for, and I don't know what it's rooted in.
Yeah.
And I think this is where, like, I'm definitely biased on this. I think your culture needs to drive a lot of your identity and not drive somehow like this paint on the outside of the car, so to speak, to use a metaphor, not literally, but
Yeah.
you know, the paint on the outside of your company somehow drives your culture.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not believing any of it. That's the I think the heart of it, because I
We
just
would
don't
call
believe
that-
any of this.
We would call that outside in branding, right, Mike? You're
Yes.
looking at the outside, your customers, or maybe the customers that you want, and you're saying, what do they want us to be? Okay, let's go do that.
I don't think they even did that, though.
I don't think they did either, Mike, because they
Man.
totally threw their whole customer base, you know,
Yep.
the 60 plus retirees with money, threw them out the window. And it was kind of this, you know, we've seen this in culture for the last, you know, I don't know, 5 to 10 years of like, hey, we're gonna take, you know, the fans of this thing, and we're gonna totally subvert their expectations, and we're gonna just toss them out the window and see what happens, right? Just
Yep.
to kind of stick it to the man a little bit, right? And it doesn't work from a business perspective, but you know, in a larger sense, that outside in branding, it's just not authentic, Mike. It's really not.
No, it really is not. And I'm there with you. This is not remarkable.
Yeah.
I'm doubtful it will even stick. I think in a year or two, you're going to see a very different brand identity.
Yeah.
All the way down to like, I don't believe that that's the car they'll end up launching style wise.
No.
I think this is a lot of like, we need attention because we think that'll help our bottom line and help us get investment. And they've completely thrown their brand in the trash in the process.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If this is something that you're considering, someone out there is considering for your brand or your company, like, this strategy is not one that should be taken lightly.
Yeah.
You should be really, really careful before you just wholesale throw your entire identity in the trash and try to start over without doing a lot of homework and really understanding not just the root symptoms that are causing you to feel that way. Like, there are some definite issues at Jaguar, right? So they should be considering these things.
Yep.
But their process seems very short-sighted, and it's lacking any real like point of view. Like, what do we really believe about EVs? What do we believe about the world? What do we believe about luxury? This isn't how you build a phenomenal brand, a remarkable brand. So, no, not remarkable.
Not remarkable. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments. I would love to have a civil discussion down there about this. I know this has been a hot topic for the last couple months. And as always, we so appreciate smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. We have a lot planned on this channel. In the future, we're going to do more of these rebrand reviews. We are going to do I'm really excited about this, Mike. We're going to be doing some brand evolution videos, taking a brand like Starbucks or Google and looking at their brand evolution from conception to today. Those I think will be really, really fascinating. And yeah, we got a lot planned. So subscribe, join the community here. And as always, Mike,
you are remarkable.